Testing, 1, 2, 3, 4. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Oh gosh, I hope this turns out all right. I'm really over. Let y'all see my bloopers, because clearly this little remote thing not working. It's supposed to pause me. What are you doing? Get it together. I'm a one woman show out here. Hey y'all, and welcome to another episode of Lipsticks, Literature, and Libations. By now you watched my first video. If this is your first time being here, take a look. It's in a book. I gotta figure out my intro, y'all, because I've been going back and forth of what I want to do in the intro, or do I want to do the same intro with variations each time? I don't know, but we'll figure it out. Y'all, I was so excited for my second video because I had this amazing concept, but unfortunately 2 of my books did not come. However, they are on the way and they will be here tomorrow, so I will drop that video on next Sunday. I just wanted to go ahead and drop something small just to maintain some consistency, right? So tonight, remember I said we'll always have a lippy, okay? So I didn't really do too much tonight because, you know, whatever. However, on my lips, I just have a beauty supply liner. I think it's Nika K or something like that, NK. And then I have one of the greatest, cheapest inventions known to mankind, known to black girls, okay? It's the NYX Butter Gloss. I don't know if my stuff gonna focus, you know, I'm on my phone. And it's the color Praline. Now, Praline is a really good color, and also Tiramisu is a really good color. And what was the other one? I think it's Ginger Snap. That's a really good color for brown girls. And I'm not a makeup guru or anything like that. I just like my lips to be popping. I like lip color, okay? So that's just, and these are like $4.99. You can get them at, I know, maybe Target, Nordstrom's Rack, of course Sephora and stuff like that. But I'm just talking about like any place you can just run in and get. But Target, for sure. You may can get them at Walgreens too, but they're like $5.99. If you pay more than that for them, uncivilized. And tonight, I don't have any alcoholic beverage that I'm partaking in, but I am sipping on some good old sweet tea from Raising Cane's. It's been diluted for my pleasure. I stay thirsty, y'all. I'm a thirst bucket. So tonight, we're going to discuss 3 books. Maybe not in depth, but we're going to discuss 3 books. And I'm going to call this video Battle of the Sequels because I live for a good series. I love books that have series. Now, if an author is writing a book and they leave it open-ended, I always think that you have to have a sequel. Why would you not have a sequel? I mean, come on, girl or man or whomever. Why would you not have a sequel? You can't just leave a book and let the readers be like, what's going to happen next? Oh, my God, because one of the books that I'm about to discuss, it took forever to get a sequel. And the sequel was kind of disappointing. And if you've read this book, then you know what I'm saying. Like, I'm waiting on a sequel to Fly Girl. Or did Fly Girl already have a sequel? And I'm also waiting on the movie to Fly Girl, Omar Tyree. Now, 2015, 5 years later, there's nothing. There's nothing. We are waiting. The people that read the Fly Girl, we're waiting. Y'all play with us. Y'all put this, they wrote an article on, it's a Fly Girl movie coming. I don't know what happened because Corona wasn't even around when this happened, okay? So where is the movie? We're waiting. It's our version of Sex and the City. Where is the movie? Tyler Perry, Oprah, whomever. Anyways, let's get into this first book that I'm about to discuss. So the first book that I want to discuss briefly is a sequel to Cartier Cartel. Y'all, and y'all don't be paying attention. Y'all probably ain't paying attention to my little broke nail, but I just brought it up because it bothers me. And don't pay attention to my crooked bow back there because symmetry bothers me also. But this first book is the sequel to Cartier Cartel. And Cartier is a certified street chick, gangster, whatever, you know. I'm just going to get real hood real quick. But this book reminds me of the books I used to read like in high school when, you know, I like urban novels. A lot of people don't give urban novels their credit because hence the term urban. But they are just so good when you need to like escape reality or just when you want like a hood feel, like sometimes you don't want to read books that are just so in depth, like Moby Dick and Pride and Prejudice. You know, sometimes you don't want to read that. You want to read something real, like entertaining, that's related to the streets, have a lot of gangster stuff going on up in it, you know, stuff like that. So this book, this entire series is a very good series to read, especially if you're not an avid reader. If you want something just to get your brain going and you to actually just read for entertainment, pure enjoyment, these types of books are good. You can find them at Walmart. Depending on where the geographical location is of your Walmart, you may find more urban books or books by people of color, because it depends on the demographic. But you can also find these books online. Some of these books are available on Kindle. What's the other one? Kindle, Audible, and I can't remember what else, for free. If you have the Kindle, then you can read a lot of these books for free. A lot of those books are free. I forgot what the other app is. I know my older daughter Elise and then my niece Amaria, they read books on WhatsApp. I think that's where they read books at. If you watch this show, at least let me know. But they have a lot of books on there, like a lot of writers on there. But this book is really good. It follows the life of Cartier Santiago. If I'm not, no, that's the author. I'm sorry, Cartier. I can't remember what her last name is, but she's a very intelligent young black lady, or a teenager when this book starts. Maybe not even a teenager. I think she's like maybe like 20, but she's always been dealing with street dudes. And so she deals with a lot of street dudes, but I had to make sure I was still recording. But they treat her well, they treat her nice. And if you're accustomed or acclimated to the hood, then you know the story of the pretty smart black girl falls in love with the hood dude that deals drugs. But then you know the hood dude he's smart. He's doing illegal activities, but he also has business ventures and he has all this money stashed away, and he has a head on his shoulders. But sometimes when you're too deep into the game, you know, nobody makes it out alive. But this book has so much drama in it. So please, the sequel was way better. I'm not saying way better than the first, but these books make you want to read the next book. So the first book definitely makes you want to read the next book, because it stops. Like if this was a movie, you would be like, oh, in the theater. It's really that good. So if you have a chance, please check out Cartier Cartel series. It's so good. I don't have the first one. I can't find it. I probably let somebody borrow it and I haven't gotten it back. But this sequel is so good. And then it has, let me make sure. It's 3 parts to this book. And then the author, Nisa Santiago, she makes 3 more books about Bad Apple. I think it was New York based. And then she comes back and starts South Beach Cartel and then Guard to the Throne. But I love her. She's a very animated author. She's very colorful in her writing. So I really do like her as an author. And also, don't be embarrassed because you like urban novels. A lot of, I hope I said novels, I think I said novels, urban novels, because a lot of the book groups that I'm in, they tend to be a little biased, which I'm not a biased reader. And what I mean by biased is if you say that you like urban novels, they're like, you know, like everybody doesn't want to read the memoirs of Michelle Obama. No shade to Michelle Obama, because I had that book courtesy of my friend P. Got it for my Christmas or my birthday or Christmas last year. And so I mean, like, as long as you're reading, be comfortable in what you like to read and just read for your pure entertainment. Okay, so that was a book that I really feel was better than the original, than the first one. So that's a good sequel. Remember, I said this video is based on Battle of the Sequels, and so that is a book that is so good, so good. And that book came out in 2010. I think the third part of that came out in 2012, if I'm not mistaken. But please go get that book. The author is Nisa Santiago. She writes nothing but urban novels. So go check her out. Y'all, this next book, I don't even know where to begin on this book because it's so many layers. It is the sequel to Mary Monroe's God Don't Like Ugly. So if you've read that book, you know that book is filled with so much trauma. They deal with issues of sexual abuse, child molestation, rape. There's a protagonist in that book and an antagonist, and the protagonist actually is not whom you would think at first because there's so many layers to it. It's a lot of abuse, a lot of things that shouldn't be going on. Like that people experience as children, and grows over and makes them have issues in their adulthood. That book is it's not a hard read. It can be a triggering read if you've been through anything similar. So I will say that before you read that book, it can be triggering, but in the end, it makes you want to read the next book, right? So, God Don't Like Ugly by Mary Monroe. This is the sequel to God Don't Like Ugly. It's God Still Don't Like Ugly, okay? She didn't really get creative with that title, did she? She really didn't God Still Don't Like Ugly. Y'all ever heard that saying, though? God don't like ugly, but he ain't too fun or cute either. That's a read. That's a nice southern read, okay? Nice, sweet, nice, nasty read. God don't like ugly, but he ain't too fun or cute either. But back to this book. So this book, the main character in this book is Annette Good and her friend Rhoda, her best friend Rhoda. So if you read the first book, then you know who those two characters are. So, like I said, there's a protagonist and an antagonist in this book. And if you read the first one, then you know who plays that role, right? So, like I was saying, in this book, there's a most works there are protagonists and antagonists. But in this book, it is definitive that the protagonist in this book would be Annette, right? Because that is the person that is the unspoken like hero of the story. It really focuses on her life and her growth after getting away from the abuse of Mr. Boatwright and moving on with her life, and just getting away from all the things that she experienced. Now the antagonist is Rhoda. And so the first book in God Don't Like Ugly, it seemed as if Rhoda rescued Annette, right? She came and picked her up, and she's her best friend, and she's doing all these things. And I don't want to be too specific about this book if you haven't read the first one. It's very important that you read the first book to understand the second book, because if you just jumped and read this book, you would definitely want to go back and read that book. So that is another making of a good sequel. If you skip the first book and you just read the sequel, then you don't feel the need to read the first book, then that means that the first book wasn't that good, in my opinion. If you have different opinions, let me know. But I feel like if I can just jump into a series and start from the second season or the sequel, and I don't have to go back, then is it really that good? I don't know. I like storylines that continue. I don't like standalones if it's considered a series. I'm the same way with shows. If I can jump into a season and it's like 12 seasons and I have to jump in on the 4th season, I don't want to go back and, watch that. How good is it really, right? So in this book, Annette has, finally found like her Prince Charming. She's gotten away from her father and Mr. Boatwright, and he was an abuser, I will say that. And in this book, she finally reunites with some family that she never knew. And so she starts her life again. Everything's going pretty good. She's lost a little weight. She's engaged. And then all of a sudden, her childhood is exposed, right? But then, out of the blue, here comes Rhoda to save the day. Good old Rhoda, the best friend. So please read this book, because please read God Don't Like Ugly and then come read God Still Don't Like Ugly. This is a very good sequel. Very good. Now, this sequel kind of left me feeling like, there's not going to be another one after this, I don't think. Unless I skipped over a book and didn't know, but I don't know. I think I do have the upper room in my room, if I'm not mistaken. Been so long. I read this book so long ago, child. So long ago, y'all. So long ago. Like, this book is like, dang, they're older than me and I'm old. But please check out this sequel. This is a good book. Read the first one. Read the first one. Read the first one. I'm not disappointed with this sequel, but you really need to read the first book to understand this second book, because it really encompasses the character as a whole when you read the first book, and you'll understand the relationship of Annette and Rhoda. Okay? Y'all, let me lean in, because I'm about to share a book that we readers waited on for so long. So long. And when I tell you, I never really wanted to burn a book, but this is a book that I wanted to burn. Not that the writing was so offsetting. It was the fact that I waited for this book and others. We waited for this sequel from the best book, one of the best books I've ever read in my life, and I've read some things, okay? It was the sequel to, it's kind of like saying Voldemort, the coldest winter ever. Sister Soldier, Sister freaking Soldier. Where do I begin? Because how long did it take her to write this book, y'all? Does anybody remember how long it took her to write this? Let me look in the cover really quickly to see how long it took her to write this book, because 2012, is that when she wrote this book? I think it's 2012. When did The Coldest Winter Ever come out? I'm gonna have to pause this and look that up and come back so I can give my full critique of why I was so disappointed in this book. Now, Alexa told me that The Coldest Winter Ever was written in 1999. She then followed up with Midnight that she wrote in 2008. And y'all telling me that she did not write another book? Well, she did, about Midnight and his love story, but I didn't care about him. I cared because he was Winter's love. But you followed up with the baby sister, Portia Santiago, in A Deeper Love Inside in 2012. You made me sit through, see how many pages in this book. 423 pages, which is nothing to a reader like me. But however, I sat through 423 pages. And not that the book wasn't well written. That is not my gripe. And what's so crazy, I can't even really tell my gripe, because then I will ruin the story for the people that have not read it. But if you read it, please feel free to comment and tell me how you felt about it. Because it kind of was a psychological thriller mixed with fantasy versus reality, or I can't really pinpoint it without saying specifically what was going on in that book. But it took you on an emotional roller coaster, right? Because it picks up where the Santiago's kingdom is, it's down. The dad has gotten arrested. The children have went to the group homes, and all the children are in group homes, right? Winter escaped, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So Portia's in the group home trying to reunite with her sister Winter. So every day she's like, oh, Winter's coming to see me today. I'm going to, do my best, because, everything she's doing is to emulate her sister, to make her sister proud. And also she's living in a group home with the mentality that, man, I used to be rich, man. I had furs, everything. Like, they were rich. They were freaking rich. Their dad was a drug lord. So they don't know what it is to share. They don't know what it is to want. She's a young child going into a group home. So, of course, she's trying to keep on that facade of, I'm Portia Santiago. You can't tell me anything. I'm ready. They're looking at you, girl, you in a group home with us. Chill out. We don't care about you. Oh, well, you got long hair. You going to cut that shit up in here? hope I don't get bleeped out for cursing when I put my video on YouTube. But so just that whole journey of her being in the group home, and we're hearing everything from her. Is it first person story? So we're hearing everything from her. And this whole journey of 423 pages gave me hope that she was going to be reunited with her family. It gave me hope when she was working in the store and then she was struggling. And then, people trying to save her when she escaped from the group home because they know the stature of her family. And her dad, although he was a drug lord, he was still a kind man and he looked out for his community. So, when I know some people are like, oh, how the mighty have fallen. But even when you do, I don't want to say bad things, but just because people do things like that, and I don't know, please don't jump in my video and start saying, oh my God, Kim, why would you say that? I'm just talking about the book, and sometimes it reflects real life. But, just because those people sold drugs didn't make them like bad people per se, as their heart was bad. And I know some people will be very argumentative and be like, oh, if you're selling drugs to your people, then you might as well be killing and stealing, even if you're giving back to the community. But that's not a topic I want to discuss about this book. If you want to have some dialogue about that or some type of discourse, feel free to jump in my inbox at any time. I'm open, okay? To debate or not to debate, or just to have a conversation about things like that, because I too err on the side of caution when it comes to things like that. But back to the book. So the book is so good as far as the writing. I think I was just heavily disappointed to find out what I found out at the end of that book. And maybe I'm reading too much into it, because I felt like I was asleep. When I got to the final pages right before the end of the book, I felt like I was asleep reading the whole time. Like I'm not saying I wasted my brain cells, but it was kind of like, really, Sister Soldier? You made us wait this long? Really? And also, when I was reading about The Coldest Winter Ever, it said that it got an HBO book deal, but I don't remember ever seeing a movie about The Coldest Winter Ever. If I'm lost in the sauce and I'm behind on that, please let me know. But I don't remember actually seeing a movie about The Coldest Winter Ever. It said an HBO book deal. I don't know. But let me read the synopsis on the back of here really quickly. It says, at last, mega best-selling author Sister Soldier delivers the stunning sequel to The Coldest Winter Ever that fans have been eagerly waiting for. Frighteningly fierce, raw, and completely unpredictable, this coming-of-age adventure is woven with emotional intensity. A deeper love inside is written in the words of Portia Santiago, Winter's sharp-tongued, quick-witted younger sister. Portia worships Winter. A natural-born hustler, Portia is also cut from the same cloth as her father, the infamous Ricky Santiago. Passionate and loyal to the extreme, Portia refuses to accept her new life in the group homes, foster care, and juvenile detention after her wealthy family is torn apart. She's unique and beautiful. She fights and uses whatever she has to reclaim her status. Unselfishly, she pushes to get everything back that ever belonged to her loving family. In a deeper love inside, readers will encounter their favorite characters from The Coldest Winter Ever, including Winter and Midnight. Sister Soldier's writing will again move your heart, open your eyes to a shocking reality. And that's what made me mad. Because it's exactly what the book did, but it was a disappointment. So, Battle of the Sequels, this is a big L. This is a big L, y'all. And I'm still waiting, Sister Soldier, for you to reclaim your status from The Coldest Winter Ever. Because this was not it, sis. And I love this book. And I hope me talking about the book doesn't make anybody feel like I don't like the book. I don't like what it did to my mind. I don't appreciate that at all. But before you jump into this book, read The Coldest Winter Ever. If you read The Coldest Winter Ever, you will understand why I am upset and some of the other readers are upset, and why we wanted more, we expected more, or at least we're waiting for something else, because this ain't it, sis. I don't know if you had writer's block, but it's 2020. Where you at, boo? We waiting on you. You have some loyal readers out here, loyal fans. So, I'm waiting on the book. I'm trying to see what Winter really doing out here in these streets, right? Even though this was back in 1999 or before. I don't know. I don't care. I just love the book so much. In closing, I just want to I think I'll do more of these Battle of the Sequels. I'm gonna Remember to put that, Battle of the Sequels. But maybe next time I'll incorporate the first book and the sequel with it. And if they have a trilogy, like 3 books, then I'll do that. But I have an idea for this Battle of the Sequels. Overall, these 3 books, the Cartier Cartel, great. You can let your teenager read those. No people are teenagers. Yeah, you can let your teenagers read those, especially girls, because those have female leads. Guys can read those too. It doesn't matter. If they like stuff like that, let them read a book. If you want someone to engage in reading, let them read what interests them, right? Let them read the book. It's not going to hurt them. They're looking at stuff on TV that's worse, but let them, at least they're actually, you know, using their brain, reading words, expanding their vocab, expanding their comprehensive skills. I recommend those books to anybody that wants to read them. But if you're into that type of, like the urban novels, read those books. I forgot, I had a book that my grandma BB bought me. It was after my father passed. She had took me to get some stuff for school, and I kept that book forever. I think I still have it. I just have to find it somewhere. It was a really good book. It was an urban novel too, but it wasn't like super like gangster or whatever. But I just kept it because my grandma BB bought it for me. Anyways, hope y'all enjoyed this video. I hope I wasn't all over the place. I tried to pace myself and not talk so fast because I tend to speak rather quickly when I'm kind of nervous. However, I feel like I'm getting a little zhush, and next video will get better. As always, reading is fun for the mental. Tell them Kim sent you.